talking about for days, a powerful Category 4 storm as of this moment. It has already started spawning a series of dangerous tornadoes touching down throughout south central Florida. The highest risk for those tornadoes runs through this afternoon. All of that, of course, ahead of the storm, ahead of the hurricane actually coming ashore, which is expected very late this evening or into tomorrow morning. Let's go to Dana Griffin in Naples, Florida. Dana, what do we know about these tornadoes? Have we had any reports yet of where they actually touched down?
So we're trying to get that information to you now. Kate, I can tell you that we were at Naples Beach just moments ago, and our phone started alerting because of the tornado warnings that were going off. We were seeing lightning at the beach. And the reason we were there was because several surfers were still in the water as that storm surge on the beach itself.
To jest właśnie straszne. Słyszałam niedawno, że kilka osób, czy kilkanaście jest na plaży i czekają na tą falę od huraganu. Słuchajcie, jeżeli znacie kogoś takiego, to powiedzcie im, żeby się raczej schowali, bo nie przeżyją absolutnie tego. Nie wolno na plaży czekać na huragan, na oko huraganu.
Foot-high waves were coming through, saw several people who were out there, and so that's why we left and came to a garage so that we could be safe. But we are getting alerts that there have been tornadoes that have touched down, as you mentioned, in south central Florida. We are in Naples, and because we are pretty close to that area, we got those alerts. So we haven't seen any particular funnel clouds or any sort of formations from...
Tutaj po prawej stronie jest prędkość wiatru huraganu 145 mil na godzinę, to jest 220 km na godzinę, w porywach do 175, czyli do ponad 300 km na godzinę. Ale oczywiście to są tornada. Dopiero huragan będzie za 5 godzin lądował na Florydzie. Jeszcze go tam nie ma. Nie ma jeszcze tej prędkości wiatrów nad lądem.
Taking this very seriously, and it is important for people that if you are in an area where you are getting that alert, you should be leaving the area or finding cover, because this is very serious, and this is ahead of Milton. We're already seeing the rain bands in certain parts of Naples. It's stopped for the moment, but this will likely be off and on throughout the day. Again, we are expected to get 5 to 8 feet of storm surge, just because we are south of where that impact zone will hit in between Tampa and Sarasota. So it is obviously very concerning. Officials have already warned people, if you haven't got out, you need to leave now. I'll send it back to you, Kate.
Dana, thank you for that. And we're looking at some video on our screen. I'm trying to get a locator for what exactly we're looking at there, but clearly some folks are seeing what look like tornadoes. Let me bring in Al Roker for the very latest. Al, do we have a sense on the map of what part of Florida we're talking about?
Okej, tutaj widzicie oko huraganu. Oko huraganu jest jeszcze daleko od lądu. To są wszystko bands tak zwane, a więc jakby zewnętrzne pasma huraganu. Cały huragan, cała ta powierzchnia jest większa niż 300 kilometrów, prawda, od jednego końca do drugiego, więc to jest dość duża powierzchnia. I teraz wszyscy czekamy na to, żeby zobaczyć dokładnie, gdzie to oko zetknie się z lądem. Jeżeli ono się zetknie z lądem tu, gdzie jest Tampa, to wtedy wszyscy na północ będą otrzymywać bardzo dużo deszczu i bardzo duży wiatr, natomiast ci na południe od oka będą otrzymywać bardzo dużo storm surge, czyli podniesienia się wody morskiej i wpłynięcia na obszary terenu Florydy. Dlatego, że w ten sposób się kręci huragan, a więc tutaj woda napływa, a tu woda odpływa. Zobaczmy, co oni mają do powiedzenia. To jest wszystko 5 godzin przed wejściem huraganu na ląd. I jeszcze chciałam powiedzieć, że to jest 4, ale nie lubię, jak ktoś mi powiedział z Florydy przed chwilą, że on zmniejsza się. Co to znaczy zmniejsza się? 5 to jest największy huragan, ok? Więc kategorie huraganu są od pierwszy, drugi, trzeci, czwarty, 5, ale 5 kategoria jest od 147 mil na godzinę, czyli to jest 2 mile poniżej kategorii 5. Więc nie mówcie, że on zmniejsza się, bo to jest prawie kategoria 5.
This is really part and parcel of Milton, 160 miles southwest of Tampa with 145-mile-per-hour winds, moving northeast at 17. We have tornado watches right now in north of Tampa all the way down to Key West. till 9 p.m. But take a look at these areas in red. These are
Nie
all
zegarki,
tornado
tylko...
warnings. In fact, this is from my
Okej, on teraz
colleague,
pokazuje, gdzie są tornada. Ja w poprzednim wideo już to pokazałam. Mam inną stronę, na którą zaraz przejdziemy, gdzie są wiadomości o wiele szybciej podawane. On teraz mówi o tym, co ja już mówiłam 2 godziny temu, czy godzinę temu, ale posłuchajmy.
Bill Cairns, there is a particularly dangerous situation warning. Media confirming a large tornado that started over near Fort Myers and heading toward Acadia. So we're watching these systems now starting to develop. As you can see, as this storm is getting closer, usually the northeast quadrant is the most dangerous part of the storm. And as that system is making its way, this is that northeast quadrant. So we have for today this area from Melbourne to Englewood to Fort Myers, Moorhaven, Fort Pierce, all in this area, an EF2 or greater tornado possible. I just want to make sure to see if we didn't get some more information in here. We're, in fact, near Clewiston, Florida, also about an hour ago, they had a wedge tornado on the ground. So this is a very strong developing situation right now ahead of the hurricane, actually Milton, actually making landfall. We're expecting, again, landfall sometime around late tonight, early tomorrow morning, Kate. But right now, the main concern are these tornadoes that are firing up and will continue right through this evening, Kate.
Al, thank you so much for that. We're looking at video, Al. I don't know if you have a monitor and you can see this, but it's out of Alligator Alley. Can you just give us a sense for what we're looking at? I mean, just from a meteorological standpoint, that looks like a tornado to me.
Unfortunately, I don't have a video return feed in this studio, but I'm sure if it is what I'm thinking, it's probably a large wedge right now. And the danger as this system moves in, these storms become rain-wrapped. And so they're much harder to see. If we can go to the radar again, Donnie, our meteorologist down that's running this for me, we are looking at more of these storms firing up. And here's the storm surge right now. So not only do we have to worry about the tornadoes, but we've got storm surge 10 to 15 feet, 8 to 12 feet up around Sarasota. High tide is going to be coming in around 6:51 a.m., but it will be rising by the time this thing makes landfall, Kate.
All right, Al, thank you so much. We're looking at a lot of scary-looking video coming in from, obviously, users, people on cell phones taking pictures of dark clouds and even forms that look tornado-like. Let's go to Tom Yamas in Sarasota, Florida. Obviously starting to rain. You're starting to feel those outer bands, Tom. You're not where this you're, I think, just barely in the cone of this tornado threat, but have you seen anything there?
Yeah, I was about 18 floors up about 4 or 5 minutes ago, looking out over the horizon. You could see ominous clouds, but you didn't see any kind of twister shapes. But I do have to tell you, Kate, that we're still 12 hours from landfall, and we're now talking about potential tornado touching down on both the west coast and the east coast of Florida. It speaks to the type of emergency situation that we're in right now.
Tu widzicie pozostałości po huraganie, który był 10 dni temu. Więc to wszystko nie zostało jeszcze sprzątnięte. Więc teraz jak przyjdzie ta fala, jak przyjdzie ten wiatr na to samo miejsce, to wszystko będzie lecieć, to wszystko będzie pływać.
Still 12 hours again from a potential landfall, and we're dealing with tornadoes. We talked a lot about this week about those debris pileups that were happening all around Tampa and Sarasota. And what's sort of wild is that we were worried about the storm surge and the hurricane force winds. But if you think about those debris piles and a tornado, that's even more dangerous, right? Because you have essentially those landmines in front of homes and all across neighborhoods, and they're going to be the potential for, like I said, projectiles, missile-like objects going into windows, going into homes. It's another reason why people have to get off the road right now. Yesterday, I was told that they were going to pull crews off the streets from picking up those debris piles once the tropical storm force winds sort of hit the area. But now that we have this tornado threat, I got to think they brought all those crews in. So all that debris that's been out there, and a county official told me they only picked up about 5% of it. So there's a lot of just debris and trash all over these neighborhoods.
Te wszystkie gruzy, te wszystkie rzeczy, które tam leżą, staną się potencjalnymi pociskami w takim wietrze, który ma ponad 200 km na godzinę albo 250 km na godzinę. One będą pociskami, które będą wybijały okna i tak dalej. Także dlatego gubernator DeSantis, gubernator Florydy, zarządził i zmobilizował dodatkowe siły po to, żeby zebrać jak najwięcej tych śmieci, które zostały wywalone po ostatnim huraganie. Ale niestety dużo zostało.
As we're battling now both a hurricane and potential tornadoes that are striking the Sunshine State right now.
Yeah, Tom, I want you to stay with me if you can, but I want to mention that our weather unit, our climate unit here at NBC News has just confirmed that this is an outbreak of tornadoes. They're calling it an outbreak. They're saying there have been 10 or more tornadoes spotted.
Było 11 tornado do tej pory.
A swath across the middle of
11
Florida,
tornadoes.
Florida that we're talking about. People in that area should be getting alerts on their phones to tell them to take cover and to get inside. To go back to you, Tom, can we talk about what is coming later tonight? In terms of the storm surge, right? That's the water that gets pushed by a hurricane. What are you expecting where you are?
Yeah, anywhere from 8 to 15 feet right now, right? It just depends exactly where Hurricane Milton lands. If it wobbles left, if it wobbles right, if it's closer to Tampa, if it's south of Tampa, it's going to impact all those communities that line the Gulf Coast of Florida right now. And even just a few miles north or south that moves, it could really impact people's lives. And so that's what we're waiting for. You know, people have said you cannot survive this type of storm surge. You need to leave. And I'll tell you how drastic the situation is. On some barrier islands, they weren't going to risk people not evacuating. So in some communities, they've actually cut the water off to essentially tell residents, you can't live here anymore. You have to get off the barrier islands because you will not survive that storm surge. But Kate, going back to what you were saying, we cover tornado outbreaks in Tornado Alley and, you know, states in the South and the Midwest as a major news event because they're highly dangerous. To now talk about a tornado outbreak happening here in Florida hours before a potential landfall, it speaks to what type of critical situation we're in here in Florida. And you got to remember, some people waited to the last minute to evacuate. Hopefully those people are out on the roads. We've been locked down where we are right now in Sarasota. We've made the decision to kind of stay put and cover the storm over the next several hours as it rolls in, because at times it can be too dangerous to be out there on the road. So I really hope people that are trying to get out get to where they need to be. We're in a hotel right now, and I got to tell you, about maybe 2 hours ago, I saw a family load up their car and take off. I really hope that they're not going to drive for too far, because like we said, just south of us, you have that tornado outbreak.
Yeah, no, you make a very good point, Tom, that this is historic, right? This is a history-making giant hurricane that is going across the entirety of the state, the central part of the state of Florida, from west coast to east coast. Al Roker, let me bring you back in. To that point, the weather unit is saying this is an outbreak, 10 or more tornadoes. Tom was talking about the coastal area, but this is affecting potentially inland areas too.
Take a look right here, Kate. Again, we have this tornado watch that extends well up along the eastern part of Florida, but all the way down to the Keys. But these areas in red, these are tornado warnings. This is where either they're radar indicated or there have been visual sightings. And again, one of the problems that we talk about with climate change induced storms like this, that these hurricanes now, we've had at least 2 of these hurricanes produce one EF3 tornado, which is unheard of, has not happened before. And now we're looking at this outbreak happening. And since we've been on the air, we've seen the increase in tornado warnings coming up. And these are going to continue right on into this evening, because as long as this area is to the northeast of the tornado, I should say of the hurricane of Milton, that's where we have the most instability. And because this is such a really dynamic, volatile system, that we're going to be looking at more and more of these tornadoes firing up into this evening, Kate. And again, as it gets darker and they're rain wrapped, they're even going to be harder to see. So this is really a rough point. And to Tom's point, talking about landfall and where we could see the greatest storm surge, right now it looks like it makes landfall.
Niestety ten huragan, predykcja jest, że oko wejdzie tam, gdzie ja mieszkałam, tam, gdzie mieszka moja mama, tam, gdzie jest moja siostra, więc dlatego tak dużo o tym huraganie mówię i z wami się tym dzielę. Miejmy nadzieję, że ominie ich oko, że nie będzie tak. Miejmy nadzieję, że będzie troszeczkę na południe, żeby nie dostali podwyższenia wody.
Somewhere between Venice Beach and Sarasota with as a Category 3 storm about 10 p.m., 11 p.m. tonight till about 1 to 2 a.m. Now, if that system stays like that, we are going to be looking at these storm surge impacts that happen right along between Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. But again, if this moves to the north of Sarasota, I should say of St. Petersburg and Tampa, it's going to be a rough time. Right now, it looks like most of that moisture, those winds, are going to push into Port Charlotte, to Fort Myers, to Bonita Springs. But if it moves a little further to the north, well, look out. Sarasota to St. Petersburg and Tampa, that's where we're going to see the biggest storm
Więc
surge.
tutaj jest bardzo dobrze pokazane, w jaki sposób storm surge, czyli podniesienie się wody, napływa. Jeżeli oko huraganu tutaj wyląduje, to wtedy te wszystkie południowe miasta będą miały podniesienie wody o co najmniej 4 metry. 4 do 5 metrów, historyczne podniesienie wody, natomiast tutaj woda będzie odsysana, ale będą tutaj tornada i burze i ulewy deszczowe, prawda? Podniesienie się wody bez ulewy i bez przypływu, także jeżeli będzie przypływ w nocy i ulewa jeszcze dodatkowa, to jeszcze wyżej ta woda będzie.
Coming in, and so that's where we have the problems. That's going to be, and this is only a 10 to 15 mile difference, Kate. So, but right now the main concern, these tornadoes that are cropping up even as we speak.
Yeah, Al, I'm just struck by your map with so many things going on that map all at the same time. As we said, to recap, an outbreak of tornadoes right now, 10 or more already spotted in Florida. This, as the hurricane makes its way, maybe 10 hours away from the hurricane hitting, we've now got tornadoes. That concludes.
Zobaczmy, czy jeszcze gdzie indziej są tornada. Tutaj będziemy mieć dokładnie na żywo. Sekunda. Na żywo wszystkie tornada pokazane.
Something else that we're watching, and we've got another update from meteorologist Andy Hill. Go ahead.
Thanks, Ryan.
Teraz jest aktualizacja. Tornada na wschód od Orlando, na południowy wschód od Orlando przy Kenansville.
A Deer Park, expect a confirmed warning, perhaps even an upgraded one. But the more important message here is that the previous tornado that you can see there to the south and west of that new area of rotation is still together and it's occluded. So it's following the lowest level of winds, which is pushing it west, close to Kenansville. So even though they may be in an odd...
On mówi w tej chwili o lokalizacji nowego tornada. Jest to bardzo ważne, że ludziom się mówi, gdzie to tornado jest, dlatego że mogą oni słuchać tego w samochodzie i jeżeli jadą w tamtym kierunku, no to może niech zawrócą, prawda? Ponad 1 milion ludzi się ewakuowało z Florydy, z regionu Tampa Bay. Będzie jeszcze dużo tornado w związku z tym huraganem. Huragan jeszcze nie wylądował. Ma wylądować jako huragan kategorii 4, mniej więcej za 5 godzin.
Please take shelter. That also includes the little towns like Whittier and places like that. So some more places that we need to be watching out in as this continues to be another big tornado that we're keeping an eye on include the Huffman Bull Creek Wildlife Management Area and pretty much every little place that you can think of along Highway 441 in that zone. That includes Little Scrub Park. That includes the Forever Florida Airport, and maybe all the way down there towards Bull Creek. This is going to be an extremely dangerous storm.
Na zachód od Palm Bay tornado.
Who knows where it's going to go, but it's going to go somewhere up here in the Bull Creek area.
Zaraz zobaczymy więcej kamer live na plaży w różnych miejscach Florydy.
Precursors to a big tornado on radar that we've seen today. And we've seen a lot of big tornadoes today. So this one's going to cause a lot of problems, unfortunately. My goodness. So remember, Kenansville, we got this one coming up in towards you in Gap Creek Swamp. But a much bigger one is now forming over here near 10 Mile Road in Florida, moving up towards Bull Creek. And unfortunately, that's not the only tornado that we have.
To nie tylko jedno tornado, o którym mówi, są też jeszcze inne. Tutaj na północ od jeziora Okeechobee
We're gonna have to be worried about that one as it comes up towards the town of Okeechobee. This right here is going north.
idzie na północ, więc idzie w kierunku miasta Okeechobee.
Y'all watch out. You're one of those people
Dosyć
I'm
duże
talking
miasto.
about. If you're watching this, you have the advantage.
Proszę nie wychodzić na zewnątrz, jeżeli jesteś w mieście Okeechobee.
Go back ready. Get your safe spot ready. Get yourself prepared. Charge phone, battery bank, whatever it is. Get ready. Hopefully that happens.
Tornado jest bardzo niebezpieczne, dlatego że
If you don't,
łamie wieże z prądem i linie prądowe, więc trzeba ładować swoje telefony. Dobrze jest mieć dodatkowe banki telefoniczne, które mają ładunek, naładować komputery.
Southwest Becker Road first, going to cross Interstate 95, right where we just recently had a tornado, and we've got emergency services out there. There's traffic backed up.
Zobaczymy teraz może...
Riley, go ahead.
Hey Ryan, taking our attention back to the hurricane quick, the stronger of the outer tropical storm force wind bands are almost there, and
Sarasota.
to see the storm surge go up in Tampa Bay.
To jest Bird Key, jadąc z St. Armand's Key do downtown Sarasota, ale nawet nie widać downtown. Tampa. On mówi, że jeżeli ktoś jest na plaży i czeka na oko, to naprawdę nie przeżyjesz ściany wody, więc proszę wyjść stamtąd. Tutaj jest plaża Daytona Beach, czyli po drugiej stronie Florydy. Nic szczególnego się nie dzieje, ale nie ma w ogóle plaży, także jest straszny przypływ tu. Clearwater Beach, trochę się zwiększa fala.
My goodness, just this big area of rotation right here is going to be a giant tornado coming right up towards Little Scrub campgrounds within the next little bit.
Tu mamy Naples live na południe od Fort Myers. Zachodni brzeg Florydy, południowo-zachodnia Floryda. Tu mamy Crystal River, północno-zachodnia Floryda, na północ od Ocali, nad brzegiem. Hudson, Florida.
And we're also going to do the tropical coverage here. I'm going to go through all of our tornado warnings, and then we're going to try to, hopefully, if there's no major developments while I do this, we're going to try to also update you on the latest
Palmetto, Florida.
Satellite presentation from the hurricane. All right. So, if you are in,
ale to jest rzeka, to nie jest morze, to jest rzeka Manatee River w Palmetto, Florida, ok? Tutaj mamy Sarasota, Florida, właściwie to nie jest Sarasota, tylko to jest Lido Beach. Lido Beach w okolicach Siesta Key. To nie jest Tampa, tutaj jest Palmetto, Florida, jeszcze raz. Pomylili się, bo jest napisane, że Tampa. Nie, to nie jest Tampa, to jest Palmetto, Florida. Manatee River, rzeka Manatee. The Meadows, Florida. To jest jezioro, które jest zrobione przez ludzi, to sztuczne jezioro, ale oni cały czas pokazują, bo zobaczymy, jak się podniesie woda, prawda? Teraz zobaczymy jeszcze ostrzeżenia przed tornadami. Vero Beach and Indian River Shores. Tornado blisko Vero Beach. Ostrzeżenia przed tornado na Vero Beach, Lakewood Park, Port St. Lucie. Hrabstwo St. Lucie i Martin. Nieoficjalnie mamy ostrzeżenie tornado przy 95, czyli przy olbrzymiej autostradzie, tuż nad autostradą, więc proszę uważać. Interstate 95, autostrada 95.
My primary concerns right now are there's 4 storms, of course, are one that is producing a new tornado with that very
Są 4
noticeable,
burze w tym rejonie,
very
niektóre
smooth
produkują tornada,
precipitation on
niektóre
the
nie.
right next to
Wszystko
the
jest
towards
związane z
Park.
huraganem Miltonem. Huragan Milton, czyli jego oko, jest jeszcze 5 godzin oddalone od brzegu Florydy. Sam huragan olbrzymi z tymi tornadami i z tymi burzami w nim ma wielką płaszczyznę, mniej więcej średnicy 300-350 kilometrów.
One of the most concerning things that I'm looking at right now is actually right on Vero Beach in Gifford. The latest scan of velocity there shows me that there is an acceleration of the inflow into the area of concern that could begin to
Duże opady i burze w okolicach Lakeland, Kissimmee, Cape Canaveral, Palm Bay, no i Tampa, St. Petersburg też.
And eventually Sebastian. So all of y'all, this storm is very concerning to me. It is entirely wrapped in rain. Just wanted to say that if you're going to try to go and see
Tutaj
it,
jest oko.
you're not going to see anything.
Ten
Very dangerous situation.
huragan Milton przyspiesza, to znaczy przyspiesza nie naokoło, tylko przyspiesza swoją podróż w kierunku lądowania na Florydzie. Tutaj mamy Palm Beach, Floryda. Nie, tu mamy, przepraszam, Shelton, Bartow, Floryda. Ostrzeżenie przed tornado, Palm Beach, Florida, Martin, Florida, St. Lucie, Florida. Te wszystkie kwadraciki czy prostokąty czerwone to są ostrzeżenia tornado.
Now they're moving more northerly compared to northwesterly here, and some of these warnings we're looking at because the hurricane itself has moved more to the north. So everything
Huragan,
around the hurricane, the spiral rain bands.
huragan, on mówi, cały przemieścił się na północ troszeczkę, a więc wszystkie te odnogi huraganu, które są naokoło, też przemieściły się na południe, no, przepraszam, na północ. Co ja powiedziałam, na południe? Na północ, przepraszam, north, na północ.
All right. Thank you so much, Andy. The massive tornado that is associated with the storm in
Ostrzeżenie tornado Orange, Florida, Osceola, Florida, koło Little Scrub.
This is a big tornado still causing significant debris to be noted here on radar. If you're new, if you don't know what we're looking at here, this is correlation coefficient. It scans the sky, okay, and it looks and sees like what's the size and shape of everything look like. Is it mostly similar? Is it a bunch of raindrops? Okay, we'll paint most of that the same color. That's why most of this is orange and red here. That's where we've got similarly sized hydrometeors, stuff in the
Przewidywane podniesienie wody, poziomu morza około 3 metry, 2,5-3 metry w tej chwili lub więcej, minimum 2,5-3 metry na południe od oka, plus opad, plus jeżeli będzie przypływ, prawda, to trzeba to dodać. Zobaczmy teraz kamery. Tak wygląda tornado. Dużo było bardzo. 11 tornado na Florydzie dzisiaj do godzina wcześniej, więc teraz chyba już jest ponad 20. Tu mamy live, na żywo kamera, tu jest Sarasota, to jest Lido Beach, tutaj mamy Manatee River i to jest Palmetto, rzeka Manatee. Ostrzeżenie tornado dla Okeechobee, Meadows, Florida. Jeżeli tornado jest nad wodą, to się nazywa water spout. Widziałam kiedyś taki water spout. Tampa, o, leje, nic nie widać.
The newest tornado warning, which it sounds crazy to say this, but we only have 9.
Sarasota, to jest widok na Bird Key, to jest widok od strony St. Armands. w kierunku Sarasota Downtown, to jest Bird Key, wiele razy jeździłam tym mostem, pięknie tam jest. Tampa.
Is we've got a ton of new storms still trying to pop up. All of our tornado warnings that we've been tracking are
Daytona.
And those are eventually going to maybe go out to sea or get oriented in a way where there's not going to be causing as much of a tornadic problem. Hopefully that's the case.
Tornado na Florydzie teraz jest 20 tornado w momencie, w którym my mówimy. Tornado to jest bardzo mały taki jakby lejek, który się tworzy w czasie burzy. Czy mówisz o huraganie? Huragan za 5 godzin dopiero ląduje na Florydzie. Huragan ma w sobie setki tornado i setki burz. Huragan jest duży, wielkości Polski czasami, wielkości całego kraju Polski, okay? Ten ma ponad 350 km średnicy huragan. Oko jego ląduje za mniej więcej 5 godzin, a tornada to są małe lejki, które są w burzach huraganu, prawda? Hudson, zaraz wam pokażę, jak to wygląda.
Port St. Lucie and Martin County, Florida storm that is a confirmed tornado warning.
Okay. Więc tutaj mamy oko huraganu. Tutaj jest cały huragan, on jest olbrzymi, prawda? Jest szerszy od Florydy. To jest cały system tego całego huraganu, cały huragan. To, co widzimy tutaj na kolorowe, to są opady, ok? Ale huragan jest o wiele większy, olbrzymi, tylko nie ma opadów z tej strony. Tu, gdzie widzimy czerwone, to są burze. Tu są tornada, prawda? Ostrzeżenia między tornadami. Burze to są tak jakby pasma, ok? Bands się nazywają, pasy huraganu, pasma. Tu jest oko, tu jest pasmo, pasmo, pasmo. Więc jak pasmo wchodzi, to wtedy tworzą się oczywiście tornada. Ale sam huragan jest tu. Jak to oko będzie do Florydy dojdzie, to wtedy jest lądowanie huraganu na Florydzie, przewidywane za około 4-5 godzin. Idzie w tą stronę, prawda? Wszystko na południe od oka, w tą stronę się kręci, a więc woda będzie nalewana do Florydy, wszystko na północ od oka, w tą stronę się kręci, a więc będzie odsysana. Więc bardzo ważne jest, gdzie jest oko. Bo jeżeli oko opadnie na Tampę, to wtedy cała Tampa Bay, zatoka Tampy, będzie zalana wodą, ok? Tysiące domów będzie zalane, ale jeżeli oko będzie tu, to wtedy nie będzie zalane. Nic w Tampie, chociaż jest to 30 kilometrów różnicy. Więc to jest bardzo ważne, gdzie jest oko, bo na południe od oka wszystko jest zalane, na północ nic nie jest zalane, ale są tornada, są opady, są wiatry. My mówimy tylko o wodzie w tej chwili, prawda? Trzeba pamiętać, że wiatr jest naokoło oka najmocniejszy, w tym momencie około 230 km na godzinę, około 250 km na godzinę, więc to zrywa dachy, prawda? Bo to jest kategorii 4. Jeżeli ktoś chce zobaczyć, jakie są kategorie, proszę wejść na mój kanał. Wejść na mój kanał i zobaczyć o kategoriach huraganów i na czym polega storm surge, czyli podniesienie się wody na południowej części oka. On mówi z tego samochodu tutaj teraz. Musiał jechać bardzo daleko do Naples, Florida, żeby zdobyć benzynę, dlatego że nie ma w ogóle benzyny. Zobaczcie, ile już jest wody tam. A jeszcze w ogóle huragan za 5 godzin dopiero będzie. Znaczy oko. Aha, że szybciej zbliża się huragan do Florydy niż przedtem było planowane. To jest chyba ostatni tutaj, jest dosyć blisko już, jest dosyć blisko, idzie w tą stronę. Więc woda, wiatr, prawda, i zalewanie to są katastroficzne rzeczy, które Dodatkowo jeszcze mamy te wszystkie tornada, burze. Proszę nie jeździć przez wysokie kałuże, dlatego że nie wszystkie samochody są do tego przygotowane. Huragan w tej chwili jest kategorii 4. Nie, to nie są dziwne. Huragany są zawsze na Florydzie, tylko nie wszystkie do Florydy dochodzą. Jest sezon huraganów, który trwa 5 miesięcy w roku i huragany przede wszystkim są z tropikalnych burz z Afryki, okay? Idą przez ocean i potem się formują w huragany. Niektóre dochodzą do Zatoki Meksykańskiej, niektóre do Florydy, a niektóre idą na północ do oceanu, ale jest ich co roku co najmniej 20-30 i to jest zawsze i zawsze było i zawsze będzie. To nie jest nic dziwnego, to jest normalne. To się nazywa cyklon. Jeżeli jest w południowej półkuli Ziemi, to się nazywa cyklon. Jeżeli jest w północnej, się nazywa huragan. To jest to samo. Cyklony są w innych obszarach, huragany są w innych obszarach. Ja akurat jestem w Warszawie, akurat przyjechałam z Miami 3 dni temu chyba. Przyleciałam. Ale w Miami się nic nie dzieje w tym momencie. Opady są, ale to wszystko. Vero Beach, Indian River Shores, Sebastian. Ok, Vero Beach ma w tej chwili tornado.
Near Vero Beach, right near the Indian River Aquatic Reserve, moving up towards Orchid Island. Please take shelter if you're anywhere in Indian River or Brevard counties in Florida. Let's also go back and take a look at our confirmed warnings. The rotation with the big, impressive tornado that is going towards Bull Creek has let up a little bit, so we can hope that it continues.
Flash flood jeszcze jest, to znaczy jest zatopienie tak jakby po deszczu, okay? Więc to są różne formacje wody. Pierwsza formacja wody to jest opady z burzy i deszcz. To jest pierwsza rzecz, prawda? Druga rzecz to jest przypływ. Trzecia rzecz to jest storm surge, czyli na południe od oka podniesienie się wody w morzu, czyli tak jakby tsunami, prawda? Ale tsunami jest od trzęsienia ziemi na dnie oceanu, a tutaj jest od wiatru spowodowanego huraganem naniesienie się i podwyższenie wody na ląd, prawda? Więc mamy naniesienie, podwyższenie wody na ląd mniej więcej 15 stóp, to jest około do 5 metrów ma być na południe od oka, jak ono wyląduje, ok? Więc już masz 5 metrów, potem dodajesz do tego deszcz, ok? Dodajesz do tego jeszcze przypływ, jeżeli będzie, i dodajesz do tego jeszcze flash flooding. Flash flooding to jest coś takiego, co miało miejsce w Polsce ostatnio, jak były zatopione południowe niektóre miasta od wylewów rzek, od nadmiernego deszczu, prawda? Gdzie to było, w jakich rejonach Polski? To było flash flooding. A tutaj masz flash flooding, opady i jeszcze storm surge, czyli masz 3 rzeczy naraz. Poza tym masz wiatr. Na obrębie oka i w okolicy mniej więcej jakichś 50 kilometrów od oka naokoło jest wiatr, to jest huragan kategorii 4, no to mamy prawdopodobnie wiatr mniej więcej 145, czyli to będzie 220 do 250 km na godzinę. I potem mamy tropikalny storm naokoło jeszcze 50 kilometrów wiatr, który jest mniej więcej 60-90 do 150 kilometrów na godzinę. Więc to zależy, w jakim rejonie się znajdujesz. Wszystko zależy od tego, w jakim rejonie się znajdujesz, okay? Jakie zniszczenia będą i co się stanie.
Probably going to see this, completely washed away. This camera is going to be.
On mówi, że ta kamera będzie pół metra pod wodą, że tutaj nie będzie nic widać. Ta kamera też będzie pod wodą potencjalnie. jak huragan będzie. Jak daleko w głąb lądu musisz wejść, żeby ta woda cię nie dosięgnęła. To wszystko zależy. To nie jest ile w głąb, dlatego że możesz być bardzo daleko w głąb, ale jeżeli jesteś przy rzece, to wtedy możesz być zalany, ok? Nigdy nie było od 120 lat nic takiego w tym obrębie, z tak wysokim storm surge, podniesieniem się wody, która będzie, oczywiście z tak wysokimi wiatrami.
Hey Ryan, and just another note about storm surge for everyone who's watching. We're probably going to see more intense surge than what we would have thought yesterday, just because the system's moving faster. The faster the hurricane moves, the more water gets pulled along with it.
On mówi, że jeszcze wyższe będzie to podniesienie wody, dlatego że huragan przyspieszył, posuwa się z większą szybkością w kierunku Florydy, a jeżeli się posuwa z większą szybkością, to więcej wody ze sobą zabiera. Za 9 godzin ma wylądować oko dopiero, 9 godzin. Ciśnienie 948 milibarów, 130 mil na godzinę wiatr. Aha, o 3:00 była update, czyli o 9:00 czasu polskiego. Okej, czyli 50 minut temu. Następna update powinna być za godzinę.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Well, that was a little bit too much. We might have to have Kinsey or somebody do this. It's at the bottom of the overlay. It's at the bottom. I'm clicking it right now. It lets me do it. If it's not letting you do it, you might need to refresh the page or clear the cache. Talk to Riley or Andy about what time it needs to be.
Oni chcą zmienić, to jest zły czas teraz, dlatego że szybciej się posuwa huragan, więc muszą tutaj zweryfikować to i zmienić ten czas, który był pokazany. Tutaj jest Punta Gorda. Nowe ostrzeżenie tornada dla Osceola i Orange Counties, to jest w okolicach Orlando. Tutaj Titusville in Cape Canaveral. Tutaj jest miejsce, gdzie rakiety startują, prawda? Cape Canaveral.
If you know this area near New Eden, you know what I'm talking about. I know I didn't say that right, but that's where the new tornado.
Więc dużo tornada. Zobaczymy teraz kamery, jak się dzieje, co się dzieje.
Continue to go up to the east of Harmony and then up towards Taylor Creek and in these areas. Please take shelter. This is getting close to Orlando. All of these storms are kind
Meadows.
the rotation's letting up just a little bit. But they are still.
To jest jezioro sztuczne. Tampa, zatoka. Trochę podwyższona fala, ale jeszcze nic takiego.
Hey, I just want to let you know we are in Punta Gorda right now. You can see Charlotte Harbor right here.
Sarasota, Florida. Troszeczkę lepiej wygląda. Przed chwilą było strasznie. Tutaj widzimy downtown Sarasota, tu jest Bird Key. Patrzymy z kierunku St. Armand's Key. Tampa, zatoka. On mówi, że autem jedzie i że wszędzie są góry, materacy, lodówek, mebli i wszystkiego z poprzedniego huraganu, który był 10 dni temu. To niestety jest niebezpiecznym nabojem, który będzie na wietrze, nie wiem, w powietrzu leciał i może wybijał okna w domach. Bo był huragan Helene przecież był dopiero niedawno, prawda? Clearwater Beach, Naples. Naples jest na południe od Fort Myers. Południowo-zachodnia Floryda, Naples. Crystal River, północno-zachodni brzeg Florydy. Troszeczkę widzę wiatr.
Hi Ryan. To the best of my ability to tell, it looks like the most concerning storm is the Vero Beach storm here. Does have a tight velocity couplet and could produce a tornado over Gifford, Indian River Shores, and Wabasso in a brief moment here.
Hudson, Florida.
General observation, some other storms that haven't yet produced tornadoes just on their own.
Palmetto, Manatee River.
Moving north or northeasterly, whereas the Vero Beach one still has a westerly component to it. I think that is a more favorable storm relative inflow, storm relative winds that are.
Sarasota, to jest widok na Lido Beach.
So I think that the Vero Beach in Gifford cell has the highest potential to produce a tornado given the track.
To jest jeden z tych, to był hotel Holiday Inn. Znam te rejony.
Storm may not have produced a tornado. Our Port St. Lucie storm has mostly fallen apart in terms of tight rotation, and I haven't seen anything else from storms that are in our.
I The Meadows. Dobrze, patrzymy jeszcze tutaj na tornadoes.
Are moving northwesterly again into that Orlando metro. For anyone who's joining just recently, they're going to meet much lower instability. We need a lot of instability, especially in the lower levels, to continue to have these storms to produce tornadoes. And thus, I think that
Wyspa Anna Maria.
Of there actually being a tornado in the Orlando metro, because that's right where that warm front is that is containing some of our instability. So north of there.
Poszerzam, bo to jest tam, gdzie ja mieszkałam. Anna Maria, Florida. Ale to jest nie ze strony morza, to jest ze strony zatoki. To jest ze strony zatoki. Okay? To nie jest plaża, to są kamienie i to jest ten pomost, po którym ciągle chodziłam, więc to jest ze strony zatoki. Bardzo duża fala jak na zatokę, normalnie nie ma w ogóle tam.
Hey Ryan, we were going to talk about one of the cyclone port cameras, but it actually just disappeared. But our camera with the shed, I think most people probably have a mental picture of what that looks like. We just saw the water reach all the way up to the path we had out to our shed there. So that's going to be something that we continue to see, and it's only going to keep coming up from here.
A, że zalało jedną kamerę, że już jest tak wysoko woda, że zalało.
It's not completely over with yet, so I'm going to continue to update you on those tornado warnings, but we've got to get serious about keeping up with the the tornado or the hurricane as well. We've got water coming up fast. The storm surge is going to come up here. This is the big thing that we have all been so concerned about, and we're going to show you that as it happens. And then we are still expecting potentially extreme winds. 120, 130 mile per hour winds maybe upon landfall here in places like Sarasota, Longboat Key, Bradenton, St. Petersburg, Venice, all these places. An extremely dangerous hurricane is on the way, and we're estimating only 4 to 5 hours away.
Tylko 4 godziny, za 4 godziny chyba już będzie lądowanie. On przyspieszył troszeczkę. W tym momencie jest 8 ostrzeżeń tornado aktywnych. Okay, on pokaże, gdzie są ostrzeżenia tornado.
And like one of the stronger storms that we've been keeping an eye on is this one here near Gifford and Winter Beach and Indian River Shores. We need you guys to take shelter now. We just got that new warning, which once again includes Port St. Lucie. Port St. Lucie, you guys are under a new tornado warning that also includes Lakewood Park, Fort Pierce, and St. Lucie Village. Take shelter. There's 2 more areas of rotation here that we are watching. Unfortunately.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
And I do think we're about to get an update from the National Hurricane Center.
Yeah, Ryan, we're a Category 3 hurricane now.
Okay. Yeah, so as expected, we are continuing to see the hurricane transition into a lower category. It's still, exactly what we were talking about yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that. Nothing has changed. We've got a major hurricane barreling down on the greater Tampa area. I think that the places that are kind of most poised, I guess, to get a direct hit right now still remain to be somewhere around Sarasota. So Sarasota down to Inglewood, Bradenton, this area might be some of the hardest hit from this storm, and that's kind of the area that we're honed in on right now. So major hurricane Milton is barreling down on the southwestern side of Florida. We're starting to see some of those stronger winds, especially around Tampa, Bradenton, and Sarasota. And we're still dealing with all of these tornado warnings over here on the other side of Florida. Right now, we've got a tornado warning for Osceola and Orange counties in Florida. We've got another
Zbliża się szybciej ten huragan.
for Broward and
Oko za 4 godziny będzie na
These look pretty nasty.
lądzie.
This one right here is confirmed warning. Just crossed over Highway 27. It's going to keep going up farther north into Broward County. Wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw another tornado warning for Weston and areas near Andytown in Florida associated with this supercell that looks like all the other ones today that have tried to produce
All
tornadoes.
eyes are on Hurricane Milton.
We got another tornado warning up here.
A Category 4 hurricane with 145-mile-per-hour winds. This is expected to make landfall tonight in west central Florida and has the potential to be one of the worst natural disasters in American history. The reason why is catastrophic storm surge is expected along the coast, and extensive wind damage will be felt far away from the center and far inland as this pushes through the Tampa Bay area and up towards Orlando as well. Here's Doppler radar right now, a historic tornado outbreak ongoing right now in Florida. There's the eye of Milton just offshore this afternoon. This is going to push inland heading into tonight. But like I was saying, a tornado outbreak right now in South Florida. At one point, we had as many as 9 tornado warnings in effect, multiple confirmed tornadoes on the ground. Let me show you some of the pictures from earlier today. This one from Greg Travers, a wedge tornado near Lake Okeechobee. This is the type of tornado that we see here in Texas or in Oklahoma, not in South Florida. This is virtually unheard of down there. Yet another tornado developed down in the Everglades and crossed over Interstate 75. See that cone-shaped tornado there. And one more. A viewer sent me this one in directly. This one from Joe Lawrence. This is right after the tornado crossed Interstate 75. So stunning photos coming in from Southwest Florida today. And weather will only get worse heading into tonight. You can see why later on today when this makes landfall nearly a 400-mile wide swath of tropical storm force.
Okej, 400 mil. Okej, to jest mniej więcej 500 kilometrów, więc prawie taka powierzchnia jak Polska.
Hurricane force winds moving in somewhere between Tampa and Fort Myers heading into tonight. But this massive wind field is going to push a ton of water in, and the storm surge.
Wysokość wody, czyli storm surge. Jeżeli ktoś z Was nie wie, co to jest, proszę wejść na mój drugi film, który trwa dosłownie minutę i pokazuje, co to znaczy 10 stóp. FT to jest stopa. Storm surge. W praktyce.
with this hurricane. Catastrophic storm surge 10 to 15, possibly as high as 20.
Wezbranie sztormowe.
Tampa and Fort Myers, especially towards the Sarasota area. This area has gotten very lucky over the past 20 years, avoiding Hurricane Charlie and then Ian and also Irma passing to the south. But it looks like their luck is going to run out tonight. And hopefully everybody took those warnings seriously and evacuated away from the coast. We'll be monitoring this situation closely, but it's certainly looking bad today for Florida. So here's the bottom line. A historic hurricane strike is forecast tonight. The highest threat is for west central Florida. Catastrophic storm surge is expected along the coast with a widespread, extensive wind damage expected as well. We'll continue monitoring the situation here at Fox 4.
For Okeechobee, thankfully, that storm is moved. It's moved away from Okeechobee now. Hopefully, they'll allow that warning to expire. It's not good. We still have several hours to go, but we'll be all right. Give me just a second. I'm going to take this brief moment to go get myself some water, so I have something to stay hydrated with.
On idzie po wodę do picia, ja też idę po
I
wodę.
really don't know, but we're going to be here for a long time. So give me just a second. I'm going to go do that. If anybody else wants to talk, I'm leaving the floor open for you. Andy, Riley.
Thank you, Ryan. Yep, currently still watching all of the tornado warned storms and possible ones that we have not had warned yet. I have my eyes on the 2 supercells in southeastern Florida that are west of Fort Lauderdale by a good clip along I-75. Looking at a terminal radar there, I can look at the first 200 feet above the surface, and I don't see any low-level rotation with our supercell that is not warned there just to the northwest of Weston, Florida. So still watching those 2 storms, but not seeing any imminent tornado threat with them at the moment. Nonetheless, if you do happen to be along Highway 27 with this tornado warning here in southern Palm Beach County, well to the west of the populated beach areas, then please be taking shelter. An update to the rest of our storms. There is one more tornado ongoing north of Holopah in Florida. That's in northeastern Osceola County. That will head into parts of Orange County, and because there is another cycle of that, a very small tornado now, we may see a warning extended into parts of Orange County that it could include parts of the southeastern Orlando metro. As previously mentioned, I think that the conditions there are much less favorable as you get into the Orlando metro for tornadoes, especially significant ones, to occur. So I think there is a lower chance that this continues there, but I do think that we may see a warning that extends to include some of you guys. So if you know anyone in Orange County, east of Kissimmee and southeast of Orlando towards the Lake Hart area, go ahead and tell them that there's a chance they could receive a tornado warning.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
It does not include them yet. So you have the chance to provide that information that I'm passing along to you. You guys don't know me. I am a meteorologist, so I can pass along all this information. I'm well prepped and trained in radar analysis here. That's why I do what I do with Ryan. But I also have tropical expertise as well. So once we transition fully to the hurricane threat here and all of the water-related impacts as well as wind, then I will be able to help you with analysis of that as well. So I'll be here all day. I appreciate you guys. I also have the chat open. No confirmed tornado warnings means that there are different tiers to our tornado warnings. And that is no longer true because we do have a confirmed tornado.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
But there are tiers to tornado warnings issued by the National Weather Service that tell us that it's radar indicated, meaning there's some rotation, but we don't have evidence of an ongoing tornado. And then we do have evidence of an ongoing tornado, that would make it a confirmed warning. And we can elevate the tier above that to incite that there is more danger in particular with the storm, and we use that to relay. We use that to relay the risk to you guys as well as the exact location and towns that will be impacted, but we always make sure to include every location within a tornado warning polygon. So there's that warning that actually came through for eastern Orange County. You're welcome for that heads up. Hopefully, I mean, you didn't get too much time because the the office, National Weather Service office there was very proactive, very good for them to issue a warning ahead of time. But that was the reason why that warning was issued, so you can tell people you had a heads up from that. You had a heads up on that warning from me. So hopefully, now you start to see the reason why, right? We've done immaculate work so far today. We have a lot more to go. We will be here for another at least 7 or 8 hours towards midnight in the Eastern time zone. So stick with us. Let people
On
know
mówi,
that
że oni
we're
będą
here.
tutaj 8 godzin. Ja oczywiście nie będę 8 godzin, bo idę spać. Ale na pewno nie będę spała, aż huragan wyląduje, dlatego że są to tereny bardzo mi bliskie. Tam mieszkałam. Anna Maria, Floryda. Ale to nie jest morze, to jest od strony zatoki. Fajnie, że to robią, że ostrzegają ludzi przed tornadami. Tutaj mamy w tym momencie oko huraganu Milton. Zawsze na północnej i północno-wschodniej stronie i też trochę na zachodniej są tornada, prawda? Opady i burze.
And that is for those sustained winds of over 115 miles per hour that are possible, especially with gusts that are higher than that. We do see that with major hurricane landfalls. Those will be issued within an hour of the expected landfall.
W godzinę, w czasie 1 godziny przed wylądowaniem huraganu, oka huraganu, czyli przed dotknięciem do lądu, będzie wydane ostrzeżenie o wiatrach, nie porywach, tylko wiatr, który trwa cały czas, około 200-220 km na godzinę, w porywach do 300 km na godzinę, naokoło oka. Będą ostrzeżenia, w którym miejscu się spodziewać tego wiatru.
More offshore winds that push the water back from the beaches. It'll push the water back from the beaches on the northern side because all the winds are.
Na północ od oka woda będzie wysysana, prawda, do morza. Na południe od oka, tam gdzie oko wyląduje, będzie przypływ i podniesienie się wody, dlatego że woda będzie napływała z Zatoki Meksykańskiej. Floryda jest w ogóle bardzo niskim stanem. Tam jest kilka dosłownie stóp, nie wiem, pół metra nad poziomem morza i tak dalej. Jest bardzo niski, ma bardzo dużo rzek, bardzo dużo wysp, więc to jest bardzo niebezpieczne.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Meteorologist Andy Hill. We're back here. We are on hour 4 of our coverage. And we just covered, I don't know, 100 tornado warnings or something. And we just
on już policzył, że było 100 tornado, 100 tornad, czy tornado.
Before I left, we had no confirmed tornado warnings. One warning has been upgraded. The newest tornado warning that we have right now is going to be over here for St. Lucie. Again, the county, Okeechobee County, and
nowe tornado dla St. Lucie i Okeechobee.
Coming up towards Fort Drum once again. And then we've got our confirmed warning, which is going to be back here for Port St. Lucie. Once again, areas just to the east there. This is going to be for Martin and St. Lucie counties near North River Shores. Take shelter now if you're in Stuart Sewell's Point, North River Shores, or Ocean Breeze Park. We have a public confirmed tornado here, which is a pretty dangerous situation. So go ahead, Riley.
Hey Ryan, I was just going to add on to what Andy was saying about storm surge. It's not only the west coast of Florida that's going to be dealing with storm surge. After we see this thing make its way across Florida,
Jak huragan przejdzie przez Florydę, to po drugiej stronie Florydy też będzie przypływ wzmożony, prawda? Tylko wtedy będzie na północ od oka, bo on w ten sposób się kręci. Więc jak przejdzie na drugą stronę Florydy, to wtedy wszystko na północy będzie woda przypływa, a na południu nie. A tutaj na południu przypływa, a na północy nie. Zależy, z której strony oka jesteś po prostu. Geograficznie.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
Here we go.
Następne tornado. Broward i Palm Beach.
We are expecting
Bez gradu. Niektóre miały grad.
9 to 13 feet of storm surge here between Anna Maria Island
A new
and
tornado
Boca
warning has
Grande.
been issued.
There are some places that could see up to 15 feet of storm surge, which is obviously extremely detrimental and potentially catastrophic. So this is what we're worried about. The hardest hit areas are definitely going to be between Anna Maria Island and Boca Grande. That includes places down there closer to Inglewood, and of course it includes Sarasota. And we just got a ton more tornado warnings.
Bradenton. O, to jest to, gdzie ja mieszkałam.
One of the newest ones,
Najnowsze tornado
in Okeechobee counties. Once again, this is not included
w hrabstwie Okeechobee,
This is areas just to the east.
na wschód od miasta Okeechobee. Bluefield.
We gotta take shelter. We got another water spout. It's about to turn
Water
into
spout,
tornado
czyli
zones
tornado z
here
wody
near Horseshoe
zrobione.
Acres Air Park. And we've got
Taki
another
lej z
update
wody,
from
prawda, który
meteorologist
idzie nad
and
ziemią.
the
Niesamowite to jest, kiedyś widziałam to.
Thank you, Ryan. Very quickly came together here near Vero Beach and Gifford. Once again, the storm has managed to sync together separate areas of rotation here and is now producing likely another weak tornado, hopefully weak over Vero Beach and Gifford. So this, if you're still in a warning here and you're confused because you had one earlier, this is a different tornado. A separate tornado is doing damage right along Highway 1, headed north into Gifford.
Ojej.
The western part of Indian River Shore.
Dużo tornado tutaj, jedno na drugim. W okolicach Highway 1, autostradą numer 1, która jedzie wzdłuż wschodniego wybrzeża Florydy, Vero Beach.
I do know that this is a tornado ongoing right over the highway between Gifford and Vero Beach.
Thank you, Andy. Vero Beach is a place that we've been talking about a lot today. Here we go again. Gifford, Orchid, all the way up there towards Indian River Shores. Please stay in your safe spots. Hopefully you're already there. Go ahead, Riley.
Hey Ryan, I just dropped a new storm surge graphic in stream text as we got an update from the National Hurricane Center. Good news, we're no longer looking at that 10 to 15 foot storm surge in Tampa Bay. However, it's still going to be significant, 8 to 12 feet. That's not something you mess around with.
Okej, Zatoka Tampy 8 do 12 stóp, podniesienie wody.
Our newest area of surge is down there further south.
I na południe od Anna Maria Island od 9 do 13, prawdopodobnie do 15 stóp, czyli do 5 metrów prawie. 15, nie, do 3, przepraszam, do 4 metrów. 4,5 metra. Czyli drugie piętro.
Thank you, Riley. Go ahead, Elijah. Oh, okay. I don't know how that keeps happening. All right, so if you're just now tuning in, we've got a tornado warning that we're keeping an eye on here near Gifford, Florida, moving up towards Indian River Shores and Winter Beach. Please get to your safe spot if you haven't gotten there yet.
Nowe tornado w Gifford, koło Indian Shores and Winter Beach. Następne tornado dla Palm Beach County.
This one includes Brown's Farm. This is for Palm Beach County. If you know where Christ Heritage Academy School is, or the Recreation Area 6 Park is, then you know about the path that this storm is going to take as it tries to produce a tornado near.
On oczywiście ostrzega ludzi, że jeżeli są w tamtym miejscu, to żeby schronili się. Ostrzeżenia tornado.
Never underestimate storm surge flooding. We're expecting up to 13 feet.
O, tutaj bardzo fajnie macie wytłumaczone 3 stopy
is.
6 stóp, 9, 12 i powyżej 12 stóp, ok? To jest przybranie wody, poziomu wody. Więc będzie około tyle przybranie poziomu wody po wejściu oka na ląd. 3 stopy, 6 stóp, 6, 9, 9, 12 i powyżej 12.
Of the radar. Let me show you the let me just show you this thing. First of all, these supercells over here in
On
South
pokazuje to, a my na razie zobaczymy kamerę na żywo.
They get up towards Port St. Lucie again later. So you guys up there
Clearwater Beach, Florida.
Afternoon and early evening more tornado warnings. But before we talk about
Za 4 godziny ma wylądować huragan.
the hurricane here on radar.
Naples, Neapol, to jest na południu.
We are starting to get some of the rain.
Piękne miasto, bardzo bogate. Naples,
But the core of the storm and the
południowo-zachodnie wybrzeże. Tutaj mamy północno-zachodnie wybrzeże, Crystal River.
A lot of the storm surge, a lot of the water that's going to cause the flooding in the form of storm surge is still back in.
Tu mamy Hudson, Florida.
This is going to come ashore as those winds are.
To nie jest sterowany kataklizm. Huraganu takiego nie da się zrobić. To jest huragan, który był po drugiej stronie półwyspu, Meksyku, który przeszedł przez Meksyk i potem na ciepłych wodach Zatoki Meksykańskiej tak jakby zagotował się z powrotem, bo większość huraganów nadchodzi ze wschodu, z Afryki i zawsze są huragany i są co roku i zawsze były. A jak mieszkałam na Florydzie 30 lat, to co roku był sezon huraganowy i co roku było ze 20 huraganów, tylko nie wszystkie oczywiście docierały do Florydy. Niektóre do Teksasu docierały, niektóre do Luizjany, a niektóre nigdzie. Większość z nich idzie na północ i po prostu rozmywa się jako niż na oceanie. Nie wierzcie w takie bzdury. Meadows, teraz już gorzej pada. Tampa, nic nie widać. Zatoka. Sarasota, to jest widok na Bird Key w kierunku downtown Sarasota, widok z kierunku St. Armand Circle. Tampa, Zatoka, nic się nie dzieje takiego jeszcze.
Southeast of Okeechobee here soon. There is a tornado warning associated with this for Indian River County, Florida. So lots of tornadoes going on right now.
Dużo tornado teraz jest.
We've got 86,000 people without power right now in Florida.
86 000 ludzi nie ma prądu w tym momencie na Florydzie. Zaraz sprawdzimy kto.
Ryan, what's the category right now?
Michał, możesz sprawdzić, gdzie nie ma prądu?
Category 3 hurricane.
Na Florydzie 85 000 osób nie ma.
Expected would happen. We've been talking about this for days.
85 000 osób już nie ma prądu. Możemy sprawdzić.
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, the storm you were just pointing out now has a deeper correlation coefficient drop right over Lakewood Park and Viking, Florida, and that's going to head right up Highway 1 into the
Mapa, gdzie nie ma prądu. Sprawdzamy.
to your south that is moving up north along the highway, paralleling it just west, so you can estimate the neighborhoods in the line of sight for this tornado ongoing here. A good early call by Ryan, but now we definitely have an ongoing tornado doing some damage to populated areas here.
Thank you so much, Andy. The Indian River Aquatic Reserve is one of the places that's in the path here, as well as the town of.
Tutaj nie ma prądu. w tych rejonach, ok? Zaraz zobaczymy, czy na pewno.
Take shelter. I know it's got to be disorienting if you live out here. You've been under.
I tutaj nie ma też prądu. Zaraz zobaczymy.
There's a tornado warning over there. There's a
Search by county.
over
Ok,
here.
zobaczymy
There's another
w
one.
Bradenton County.
And this one also we need to treat with respect and take shelter for in the Vero Beach area.
8 000 ludzi nie ma tutaj prądu w tym.